on a sausage and cheese pizza.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Have a habit, Joe. Remember?
Yeah,
One
real
fellow
bad.
driver. Yep. I mean,
Real bad.
Oh yeah.
People don't walk away.
Yep.
And sometimes, like, we try to avoid it. Like, it's
Right. We're constantly dealing with work stress, home stress. You know, we got to keep that productivity up. Go take a walk. You know.
Right.
Exercise is actually one of the best ways to actually de-stress. Believe it or not, you would think it's kind of counterproductive because you're stressing your body out. Like the amount of relief your body gets because it releases dopamine every time you actually exercise. You know?
Right.
So you're lifting weights, you're running, whatever. That releases dopamine, and that actually hurts. I gotta freaking do this and that. And
Rents due.
Goddamn jobs kicking me in the ass. You know, blah, 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 you know, whatever.
You gotta be a positive person. Definitely be a positive person.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Talk Dirty to Me. This is Sean.
Alex back with you guys again.
It's for you.
Do you like scary movies? I can't wait to give you a call.
We got another guest today who is...
Goodbye, Crane. I don't know. Sean?
So you could say it's the Alex, Shawn, and Sean show. We all know what those words spell out, right?
Yeah, we do.
Together.
So,
Well,
Alex, you want to talk about the Christmas party we went to?
we're gonna do that one.
That hotel, whatever the name of that hotel is, in the lake or whatever the fuck it was there in Geneva.
Ramada.
Oh, it was Ramada before it remodeled. Got bought out by somebody else. Yep.
Oh, we were doing the Christmas. I guess it wasn't really called the Christmas. The word I'm trying to think here now. Damn, I can't even think. Yeah, Christmas party. It wasn't really a Christmas party. It was, I'm going to bribe you to stay working for us party.
It was a fun-filled experience with open bar and food. Come on.
They're fake. Open bar. Three of us, me and Alex, showed up, and Sean, as we all know, and didn't So
I definitely never went to them.
Alex and his better half, me and my better half, and who else was sitting with us? There's somebody else. I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
That table was full. There was 8 of us there.
That was Mike sitting with us.
Yeah. And so as upper management, I won't mention any names, management came over to us, and Alex and I were pretty well blitzed. And a certain member of management came over. I won't mention his name. And he proceeded to tell us how good workers we were. Alex and I both looked at each other, rolled our eyes, and I was full of shit. And that was it. They and walked away. Because everybody knew, and Alex and Sean can back me up on this, I never had a filter on my mouth. And I don't care who you were or what position you held in the job or in the company or anything else. I did not filter my mouth. Because my father always taught me that the only way they're going to learn anything is by telling them. So needless to say, Alex and I were, by the end of the night, I think we left about, 11, 12 o'clock?
Closer to 12:31, I think.
12:31. Your mom came and picked you up.
Yep. That was bad.
You and I staggered outside with our better halves in tow. And we're singing through the hallway. And management is like looking at us, smiling. And somebody made a comment to me, Sean, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'm like the fuck we will. But anyways, so we went by. And Alex and his better half got in his mom's van, and my wife poured me in our vehicle, and we drove home. We get home, I'm laying in bed with the wife. I'm like, you know what? I got to call somebody. He's like, who the freak you going to call at 2 o'clock in the freaking morning? And then we'll find this out. Well, guess who I called, Alex?
I don't know. Is the other part of the ass right there? I mean, Sean?
Oh,
definitely.
It
was definitely me.
The phone, but he did. So he answers the phone, and him and his wife are laying in bed together. And I start immediately making obscene comments. Like, did I interrupt you, your wife pumping it up or rubbing the cream on it so it will get hard? You know, and they all everything else like this. Well, apparently I can't remember what I said to his wife, but his wife started swearing at me, and I proceeded to tell her, what did I say? I said, "Pendejo maricón," and she stopped dead in her tracks. I'm like, yeah, I know Spanish too, but I only know the swear words. And I go, ask your better half, or I should say, ask the puta. And she just started dying laughing. And he's like, I'm offended by that. I'm like, since when? So we talked on the phone for a good, I don't know, maybe an hour and some
Sounds about
change.
right.
3 hours.
3 hours?
Hell yeah. You didn't want it. You were started crying, and I dealt with like everything that night. Like it was like first he's talking normal, then he's crying.
The person
It was
Listen,
hilarious.
all I did when I got back home from that party was I literally poured myself out of the car, crawled into my house, and I fell on my front doorstep, and that's where I stayed for the rest of the night because I did not make it anywhere else. I was literally waking up on my freaking tile floor, and my wife's like, "Yeah, I couldn't get you upstairs. Sorry." I'm like, "Psh, all right, at least I didn't throw up and die."
next time I seen you, I asked you how was your night going home. You said the only thing you remember is waking up and tasting an oleum. And that's the only thing you remembered. So we talked for like 2-3 hours, and it was just a blast, you know. And he was sitting there saying, "Oh, I should have came." I'm like, "Yeah, you should have freaking came." You know,
It's freaking hilarious.
get a terrible 3 together, and you know, and really piss off management, you know. But the next time I went to work, that day when I got done, one of the management members pulled me into his office along with somebody else, and he proceeded to tell me how inappropriate my behavior was. And, oh, but the 2 guys walking around with a bottle, I forget what it was. What did he have? We have. What was it?
Yeah, honestly, most of that night's still blackout to me. So
Yeah. So I made poor choices compared to your other 2 employees who walk around with 80 proof freaking liquor, giving everybody shots. So that I was inappropriate. I'm like, okay, you got that one. So that was the end of that because I looked at him and laughed and walked out of the office. And I got rolled up that day because what I have inappropriate attitude for management. I think the first time I worked there for 1.5 years, I went back, unfortunately, because I needed money. And I was there for almost 2 years. I think out of that 3.5 years, my folder for write-ups looked like half the yellow pages.
you definitely were the overachiever in that regard.
Was,
Yeah,
very
definitely.
But hey, since you left us on amicable terms, you have gone to bigger and better places, right?
Yes, I have. I left there the first time and went for a tree company, which like blew up in my face. So I ended up come crawling back per se, and then I left again, and I work for a company. It's a trucking company out of Rochester, right? And what I do is I drive a big 10 wheel dump truck, and I do everything from hauling stone to blacktop, dirt, topsoil, whatever a dump truck can carry, I carry. I've had my B for God, at least 12 years, 10, 12 years I've had it. And this is like the second. Actually I left them and I went to work for one of the biggest building supply companies in the United States. It's called ABC Building Supplies. I work for them. I ended up getting sent to Pennsylvania to get trained on their truck. The truck that I had a crane and a pig on it. What people don't know, a pig is a forklift, big, meaty forklift. It's on the back of the truck. We had a crane on the truck, so I could do rooftop. And I got sent to Florida. I got sent to Pennsylvania to their backup corporate office to be trained in the crane. Before I went down there for training, I actually trained myself on the forklift. I was on the parking lot during days where we had nothing to do. I take the truck out there, park it, put the stabilizers down, and just play with it, you know? And it was remote, so I could stand 15, 20, 30, 40 feet from it, and I could still have control over it. And that was one of my favorite things to do was rooftops. And my very first rooftop, my manager was supposed to be there, but he was sick. He had the flu and the stomach bug at the same time, so we had best of both worlds. So he sat in a cul-de-sac. At the end of the cul-de-sac was that, you know, a big circle. Matter of fact, it's over on our side of Macedon. That housing track over there near Gowanda. was over there that I had for my first rooftop. And unfortunately for the guys, my truck it would fit in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
It had sensors on it, so if the truck was uneven, it would lock out the crane. Maybe like this, or maybe like that. It was like that. So there was no way in how I could get set up, and if I did get set up, I would take over half the circle,
Right.
unless I had permission from my boss and the proper authorities. I couldn't do that because I had to follow follow the rules. So what I ended up doing is they took the pig off, and the pig had stabilizers in the front, like you see on backhoes, but they came off from underneath the front, so I pushed the front end up in the air. So I put it down, and I actually gave him a rooftop with the pig, and I ended up getting a $20 tip because they thought I did an awesome job. Long story short, I was there for about a year and a half, 2 years, and I made a name for myself. I made a name for myself to the point where I was known as the get it done guy. You know,
Wow.
we had office up on Lyle Ave. There'd be contractors calling them to order their product, but they specifically specified me to deliver it, nobody else, because I would get stuff done. I put that truck in places, and I did things with that truck where I should have got fired. For instance, but it's not really me. But anyways, for instance, there was a contractor. I can't think of his name right off the bat, but it was out on the other side of Geneseo, on the lake, and the house was 6 to 7 feet below the road. You had the main road, and then you had their parking area, like their garage and their parking lot. You know, their driveway. It wasn't even really a driveway. It was like 4 parking stalls, and you had to walk down 8 flights of stairs to get to their house. And the contractor I knew really well, and him and I used to joke around a lot. I'm talking really bust balls. And he goes, "You think you put it down there for me?" I'm like, "Fair shit." And it so happens I didn't have my truck. It was at Kenworth getting fixed. So I had one of Lyle Ab's brand new crane trucks, which had 4 stabilizers on it. And my original truck only had 2.
Right.
So it took a little to get used to. Plus, it was an automatic. Mine was a 10-speed, 10-speed Kenworth, and that was my baby. I made that thing hum and purr. The only thing I didn't do was make it have a Jake brake in it, or that would have been better than my fucking girlfriend now. But don't tell her that. So I have a full skid of shingles, which weigh a few thousand pounds, and I went over in front of the driveway, in front of the garage, underneath the main wire for the house. Right, it's on the side of the road, and then up over the railing and then down 6 feet, and then continue to extend the arm out about another 10, 12 feet. And on my crane, I didn't have the extra 4 foot like the new cranes did. They have an extra 4 foot, so you can do that extra oomph. Well, I didn't need it really, and I dropped all 4 skids and the other 2 skids of supplies like drip edge, nails, and all that stuff, like 2 feet from the house.
Wow.
And he looked at me and goes, "You are crazy." I'm like, "Nah, we all need a hobby. Screw it." So my boss, actually not my boss, it was technically the driver boss or truck boss, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
And what are those balloons doing?
I have no idea.
Shit.
That's all on Sean's end.
I didn't even do nothing. I don't know what happened. I really don't know
sure
what
you
happened.
But
I
have a
really
serious
didn't do it.
You're freaking over here putting balloons in people's shit.
Dude, I don't even know how to do that, man. That's awesome. I don't even know how to do that. So,
anyways,
that's funny crap.
so I went out there because apparently he didn't order something, so my boss took it out. Well, my boss went out there, the truck boss went out there and seen what I did. He told me the next day, and he goes, "Come here for a minute." I'm like, "What's up?" And he goes, "You're crazy." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm crazy?" He goes, "I was out at Steve's." Oh, Steve was the contractor. And he goes, "I was out at Steve's contract house out there in Geneseo, and I seen what you did with the skids." I'm like, "Shh, don't tell." And he goes, "Oh, I won't. Because managing what you did, you probably get in a lot of trouble." I'm like, "Listen, man." I says, "I'm the reason why a lot of these contractors are happy. I'm the reason why a lot of these contractors are still with us. And I'm also the reason why a lot of contractors call us from Albion, from Isle Ave, and another store for me to deliver their stuff, not those 2 stores. And I'm the man. I was the man. And I don't mean to pat myself on the back to the point where I break my arm, but I'm going to break both my arms. Because when I accomplish something, I boast and brag about it. And my main goal was to piss off Lyle Lab. And I pissed off Lyle Lab really bad.
Damn.
Because we took a few of their contracts from them. They changed salesmen to us because I always try to poach their work. And I would go to a job for them and I would poach the contractors. Why don't you just come to us? You know, our salesman, Tim, can do a better job than this salesman you got up there, this and everything else like this. Unless I liked the salesman in Lyle, then I kept my mouth shut. But there was nobody in Lyle I actually liked, except for like the head warehouse manager, which he was pretty cool. But other than that, I couldn't stand anybody up there. There was one point in time, the same day I did Steve's job, they had one person only trained to run their crane truck, and he was on vacation.
Oof.
So I had to do his deliveries. And so the only thing they could do was just go around and drop stuff for me, and I come behind them and put them up the roof.
Wow.
And my main rule was, and all the contractors knew this about after the second time that I delivered for them, when I do rooftops, it's not your job site anymore. It's my job site. If I put something on the roof and I want one person and one person only in control up on the roof, giving me hand signals the whole 9 yards. If you don't know the hand signals, we're going to move on to somebody else that knows the hand signals. If not, you get both their butts down here and I'll teach them hand signals.
Right.
I didn't play around when it came to rooftops because people get seriously hurt, if not killed. So there was a few times I butted head with a few contractors, their employees per se, not the people, the guy that owned the company. But and I didn't care. I don't care if you didn't like me or not. I have a job to do. I have the job to put your stuff up on your roof safely and efficiently and fast enough where I can get the hell out of here and get on to the next one. Because I was usually doing anywhere from 2 to 3 roof drops a day. And I even pushed it one day to 4 rooftops. And I think I actually, what I do? I set a record for our place, Manchester, and for 4 rooftops in one day. And that's something I accomplished, and that's something I was happy about. It was a decent company to work for, you know, to a certain extent. It's just management, just like another company we all know. Management can suck sometimes, and they just don't listen to us sometimes.
Right.
You know,
it's part of life.
It's part of life. But when it comes to safety of your drivers and your equipment that you need to make money, so I can make money, not sit around with my thumb on my ass and wish I had a job or wish I was doing something, because I can't sit idle. I hate sitting idle. You know, in the wintertime, the company I work for now, I do salting. We work for Wegmans. We do the warehouses up in Rochester. And I'm a salt crew now. So I got my own salt truck. I got my own loader. When it snows, we salt. If we need to plow, I plow. I have my set areas. I have my set buildings. I have my set parking lots that I do. And then I go to other areas where people might need our help, because the property that I'm on right now, I've been doing that property ever since I've worked for these guys. Right. You know, and I just know it frontwards and backwards, sideways, up and down. And that's why they put me there. And that's why the other guy, my other boss that works with me, he can go off and do something. And my main boss, which are 2 brothers, know and honestly trust me to stay there by myself and keep track of things, because I know what they want and I know how they want it, because how they want is how I want it.
Right.
You know? The way we are about things. You know, we're really picky because Wegmans is super, super extremely anal about shit.
Yeah.
You know,
big company. Right. So before all this, before you did anything, what was your life like before that? So growing up, how was your life? Yeah, growing up, how was your life?
It was all right. I took BOCES in school. I took heavy equipment operation in school. It was all right. You know.
Nothing fun, no sports, nothing like that?
Please. The only sport I played was track. The only reason why I got on track is to see the freaking girls do the hurdle.
Well, at least you're honest, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Not like something the other Shawn would have got into just for that reason.
Yeah, anyways, we won't go there, but anyways.
Let's not go there. I'm on this every week. He's on it just now, so.
Only thing you're honest about is your hair.
Whoa. So
hey, you guys grow a beard at all?
So, wow, right on the show. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna blast you. I'm number one this time, right?
So, when you came into the trash company, did anybody look at you weird? Did you feel weird about going any places? You know, like the perception they gave you when you were in an area in a trash truck.
No,
What
I
was your
really didn't
thoughts
care.
behind that?
I was there to pick up I was there to do a job.
Right.
Bottom. I was there to take your trash and not take your crap. And there was times that I was willing to make the company extra money, even though I wasn't going to see it unless I got a gift card. And they didn't want to hear it. You know, there was times that we all know this, and everybody out there knows this. Sometimes you run over hours, so you got
Right.
to do a log. No, we don't
Yep.
do that, but anyways. Um, so the company came up with the ingenious idea to do digital logs with little boxes, and or try to put these boxes in every single truck we had. And I just laughed. I sat in front of the shop in my hook truck for 25 minutes trying to get the thing to connect to the truck. And it kept on saying Wi-Fi not accessible. I'm sitting right on top of the goddamn Wi-Fi. What do you mean it's not accessible? So I proceeded to go upstairs, and there was someone from corporate that was heading this little project, and he asked me about it, and I proceeded to tell him that I don't like it. Well, what don't you like about it? I'm like, well, you really don't want to hear my opinion. And Debbie, she's a beautiful woman. She was our truck boss, and she was the lifeline for all of us drivers. So I don't care what anybody says. And she was a beautiful woman, and was crappy what they did to her. But anyways, she yelled over the counter, "No, you don't want to hear his opinion, Shawn. Shut up." I stood up and said, "Yes, mom." And I sat back down. I'm like, "You heard the lady. I can't say nothing."
Right.
No, 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 no. I really want. I'm like, "No, you don't." And at that time, another management person came around the corner, and he says, "No, you don't want to hear what he has to say. Trust me, because it'll be something you don't want to hear." He's like, "No, no." He goes, "What are you?" The guy started getting a little mad because he was starting to flex his position, or as I like to call them, their inflatable muscles. And so I'm like, "Okay, fine. You want to hear what I have to say about this?" I go, "It's junk, straight up junk. You know, you people, you corporate companies are trying to invent things that you have no idea what the freak you're doing. You know, you push things on us drivers to do digital logs and everything else like this instead of, asking us, how do you think this would work, or how do you think we should do this? No, you just go and create something by somebody that's never been in a freaking truck a day in their life, and you think you can come up with something, and poof, it works. Well, now guess what? Your poof is gone out the freaking door. Your
Right.
poof sounds like my fucking fart coming out of my ass when it's wet. And he's like, I'm like, "What? You coughing? You need to drink water?" And Debbie's in the office cracking up laughing. The dollar management, he's leaning against the doorway with his head in his hands, shaking his head. And he's like behind me, behind the guy, going like this, "No, no, no." And I'm like, "Fuck you. You want to hear what I tell you what to say?"
Right.
There was more than one time that I bumped heads with management. And every time the owner came within like 5 feet of the building, they would send me out on some of the stupidest stuff. "Oh, you got to run 6 toters over to this building." Well, I get over there, and the building already had 6 toters. I'm like, "Okay," so they would know that I would call back to the shop, get back to dispatch, have them look into why there's already toters there. What am I supposed to do with them? Am I supposed to swap? All this other stuff. All knowing that I would not be anywhere back to the shop in time to see the owner of the company, which I really didn't give two craps if I seen them. They were
Right.
afraid I was gonna be one of the employees that he stops and talks to, and they were afraid that I was get diarrhea of the mouth, which I would. And
He
they were afraid.
definitely do.
No,
Like, it's not a lie.
all the way from fucking the general manager all the way down to the truck boss. I didn't care.
Right.
You put your pant leg on one leg at a time like I do. Well, some people, the heavier set people, have to actually put their legs on 2 legs at a time. No offense.
Hey. Sometimes we don't even have legs to put on. We just wear kilts.
Yeah, that's it. Or you wear those tips.
Hey, listen, I love my kilt, all right?
I
You
know.
know, Scottish pride. Come on, baby.
Scottish? I thought you were German. What?
I'm Scottish,
What just
German,
happened?
Irish, whatever the hell I want to be, whatever
You don't
day
e-
of the week I want to be it.
You
know
don't
what I mean?
even know what you are. You're something.
I can classify myself as a tree.
Right.
Whatever you
I'm
want.
a cat now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
My main classification is I classify myself as an apple.
Oh no.
Hey, that's already taken already. I'm the
Yeah.
start of that, line. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Alex definitely took over that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hey,
I'm the
whoa,
good.
whoa, whoa.
I'm the good guy at the job.
Yeah.
Remember,
And that's why
nobody-
everyone, yeah.
I've never gotten mad or
But,
nothing
hey,
at
well,
work.
Other Shawn, you actually be pretty interested to know that things have gone up since you've left.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not bullshitting.
Nah,
bro. Like,
it's
I mean,
not.
we got better equipment. We actually got routes that are in line.
When you say better equipment, they use Gorilla Tape now instead of regular tape.
Like
No,
they
like,
actually
brand new.
revamped the fleet, man.
Yeah, we got all brand new trucks and everything now. So
Yeah.
surprising. Oof.
It's mine. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna say that on the air. Never mind. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dirty knees.
So yeah,
Not me.
somebody. Yeah, we definitely got better equipment. We use tablets now. And the tablets are way better than they were back when you were talking about them route tablets.
Yeah,
or the log tablets.
The e-logs you had were kind of crap, but
Yeah,
once
they
they got
definitely
now,
were.
man, they're a lot better.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to do e-logs or any logs right now because we're all under 10, 12 hours now.
Yeah, our trucks take pictures nowadays. So when you go to a crappy stop, you can take a picture of it. It's really cool.
Like
Definitely got better.
I like the stops where people they were told time and time again not to put their toter so close to the mailbox, and someone like me
Just grab the mailbox.
rolled up on the top. Rolled up. No, I didn't.
Well,
Don't
boof.
verify what I did. It was the
Oh
second,
no.
and the first time it happened, I put a note right on their tote saying, "Please do not put too close to the mailbox." Well, the second week came around, me and Shawn were out there, and they were right next to his mailbox. So I get out of the truck, I move it over a little bit, I grab it, dump it, and I'm like, "Clock, you want to see something funny?" He's like, "What?" I revved the engine up to 1,500 RPMs, and I just pushed out the stick, and the arm went out, and I let go just at the right time, and I launched their toter across their yard, like 5 feet from their porch.
So that's where the other Shawn got it from.
No. Look at this.
Listen,
It's
all I know is that somebody goes on a certain lake road is helping out. Looks like a tornado ripped through your route.
hurricane. It's a hurricane. Okay, and it takes the toters back to the water with them. A hurricane comes through and takes the toters right back to the water when the waves go out.
Somewhere kind of in the lake, Shawn.
That's what I'm saying. The hurricane takes it back out to the water with them. The tsunami.
The reason why
Right
I
back to
did
the water.
because when I had my route, my customers knew I didn't play. Okay, it's either A, you stick it the way I tell you to, stick it, which way the put toter goes in the whole 9 yards, or you suffer consequences. Either you find your toter in the ditch, you find your toter in the woods if you had woods near your house, or in the bushes, or in
a
the middle,
block away.
upside down,
Who taught me a block away?
or a block away, or no toter at all because I let the truck eat it.
Yeah, I think I remember getting a call about that one before, freaking from original Shawn over here about oh hey, customer just called in and said you took their toter with you, and yeah you did.
Yeah, I dropped the button stuck and accidentally opened on me instead of keeping closed. If I bring it down,
Unfortunately,
Accidentally.
the truck I drive now, there's no option for me to open the claw when it's in the air.
No?
The
Yeah.
other guys can do that, but I
Nope.
can't do that no more.
No. So if you don't know the trick behind it, you can't let go of a toter in there. There's a trick that you got to do.
Hey, I was the only driver though that got one of the newer trucks and was able to put the can up over the body and have it land in the road on the opposite side of the truck. I mean, come on.
Right. And the
No,
only
I mean,
driver,
no, it landed on its feet though, and nothing came out of it. So
Right.
I mean,
and the
impressive.
only driver that loses his pump every week.
Whoa! It's a motor, first of all, and those motors are fragile. They're a little fragile, you gotta be nice to them. You gotta treat them like a delicate woman.
Yeah.
But my customers knew that I didn't play. and certain customers got away with a lot more things than other customers did.
So you played favorites.
Yeah, my favorites. But the
Is-
only thing I messed up was when I quit the first time. I quit a month before Christmas,
Right.
Yeah, nope, you missed out on that.
and I found out the driver that took a certain route, no names mentioned, made out pretty good. Didn't you, Clock?
What you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like it was so funny because your first time there you had your own specific route. The second time there you were a swing driver. So like get into yeah, that's what they call it now. That's what it's called now. Swing drivers where you run anything. Yeah.
Office support personnel.
Yeah. Now it's called swing driver.
Yeah, bitch.
I didn't say it, bro. I didn't say it.
Now, which one do you prefer the best, though? Residential, roll-off, front-load? If you had to pick one department, what would you say was your favorite one?
My hook truck.
Hook truck? Okay.
Oh, my hook truck.
Roll-off, for those people that don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a roll-off, but with a hook on the end of it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So you like playing hooky a lot, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they do. But
it's really cool.
So
I
also like doing what was it? I didn't mind delivering toters, but my favorite times was repos.
Yeah, I like the repos.
Everyone keeps saying they love repos, man.
Yeah,
like,
because you get to do fun things, man. You get to go in like people's backyards and just like snatch stuff.
Yeah, and then get
people
shot
chase
at,
you down the road.
Saying?
Oh well, it's part of the game.
Load can repos. I love doing those things. I rolled up on this house and there was 2 cars blocking it, so I drove by and I sat down in all places, a church parking lot, and I waited for the one car to go by, and it went by. The paint wasn't even dry on the driveway when the dude left. I was already backed in, hooked, and gone. I went down about 5 miles, pulled back into this parking lot of this grocery store or someplace like that, and that's when I chained everything. That's when I hooked. That's when I chained the dumpster down to the truck and the whole, like you're supposed to do, the safety thing you're supposed to do. But other than that, I wasn't doing it. I was hooking and I was going. And management got so many phone calls about me because of, as the customer would complain, shiesty stuff that I was doing. No, it wasn't shiesty because you owe us money. So therefore, you go 60 days with us owing us money. It goes into debt collection. And after it goes into debt collection, we confiscate any and all property that belonged to Solid Waste Management.
Yep.
Right.
And
now,
I loved it.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I mean, I love doing repos too. I used to drive tow truck for a long time, for about 3 years.
I remember
and that. I always drive used to drive a wrecker all the time. They had me a freaking repo sheet, and I'm like, all right, I'm going down to downtown. Okay, cool. So wait for the guy to leave. Go in his house, whip it in there, grab it. I mean. I might have, in the middle of winter, grabbed an Audi from the backside and just dragged it down the road until I got it away from the house, and then got out and put my freaking other support structures on it. That's how they call them. I'm drawing a blank, but it's literally the slats you put under there with the extra wheels.
Yeah.
To freaking get it the rest of the way.
Dollies.
But dolly. There you go. Because I had too much beer. Had too much beer already. Sorry. But, I would do some pretty shicey stuff myself. I mean, but it was a lot of fun. It gave you a lot of adrenaline. You freaking got that little pump going, But, I mean, yeah, I could see where it's fun. I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, why don't you go be a record driver?
No.
Yeah, it's true.
It's great in the wintertime. You make a lot of money, pulling cars out of ditches.
This is the reason why I won't be a record driver. For the specific reason is I was put in a really bad situation, and I did work for a tow company, but when I seen a certain car on a flatbed and it had a little spot of blood in the seat, my brain shut, and I turned into,
Gotcha. So you don't like blood.
Some of the Casella employees that are standard, you have to be, you know what I'm saying? So.
I mean, all right.
You have to go every once in a while.
No, I'm not going to get it.
To be an employee.
Come on. So you're saying basically blood and you don't mix, basically.
Right.
But seeing blood and I don't mix, or seeing a wrecked vehicle and blood don't mix.
Right.
Yeah, no, I definitely see quite a fair share of those. I mean, some bad accidents. Luckily, I didn't see no bodies, but I did see a head one time. But You know, no, it's not for everybody. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where if you don't like certain things, it's going to be kind of effed up.
Right.
But
Yeah, definitely.
the company I work for now is really good. My bosses take care of me. Some days I get away with a lot of stuff. I had an accident. I T-boned someone on the thruway back in January. Unfortunately for me, I had to use up 80% of my PTO between the days I couldn't get out of bed because my back was so messed up, or I was going to doctor's appointments, or just I was in too much pain to do anything.
Right.
Were you wearing a seatbelt, sir?
Yes, I was.
Okay, well, at least is that.
At
At least you're
least,
beating the other
yeah.
shot already.
I don't play around I don't play around
What?
my PTO. It's my moneymaker. So I
He's-
actually proceed by all the laws.
Right. You definitely gotta obey those laws.
Yeah.
yeah, and just for the record, I do wear a seatbelt now. We're on camera, so
No, but before though,
No,
seatbelt.
no.
What's this?
oh, yeah, like dude, you had to be like in and out of that truck like that. Come on, you know the rules.
Seatbelts, it worked.
Yeah, he's right.
Well,
the seatbelts didn't
To
even
be
work.
fair, certain older trucks I used to drive didn't even have the seatbelt reach all the way because I'm a little rotund in the middle. So unfortunately,
I don't know if you were there, that Alex, for this, but I remember the day we got that brand new freaking front load truck from that rental company, and it sat in the parking lot.
Yeah, yep.
And what's his name there? Sean and I were talking about his uncle works for Casella. He was like upper management or something like that. And in fact, I know Alex, you were not there for this. I can't think of the guy's name. Well, anyways, the Wilder kid, Benny Hanna. We got to an argument about
Straight out the whole name.
That wasn't his last name.
okay.
So you gotta bleep that. Right?
Oh shit!
We got a real heated conversation about if I was going to drive that truck or not. Well, the next day, this guy, the upper management guy, he was like the boss over everybody. He came out to me in front of this kid and threw me the keys to his brand new front load truck. And he goes, "Hey, here's a route. Here's a truck. Go pick it up." And I look at him and I smile and I said, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." And I walked out the door. And I got in this still plastic on the seats, thank God, because they came in handy a few times. And I went out and proceeded to start doing front loads. And after that, I got suckered in doing front load routes. Some of the people that I did front loads for were really, really extremely nasty. There's that old Army Seneca Depot over there where the housing for the military guys now turned into apartment complexes.
Hey.
There was more than one that one of their front load cans accidentally fell inside my box.
Oof.
Where Hana and the other guy had to come out, and actually Hana had to climb up there and chain it to my forks, and so I could pull it out of the truck. So it's nice to sit there for 2-3 hours and get paid for it. There's no cell service. There was no cell service over there, none whatsoever. You basically had to put on your tin hat and your tin glove, stand on one leg, one arm up in the air, and smile crooked to get any kind of reception in that place whatsoever. So I sat there twiddling my thumbs. And
they have cell blockers.
I don't know cell blockers, but anyways, I always hated that because it just gave me the spooks.
Yeah.
I had to go in the depot one time because that's where the depot's in. That's where their town barns are, is inside the depot.
Right.
I had to go inside and pick up their little 5-yard little front load can, which was stupid. But I went in there. I was in the only place where you had reception, and the whole area was in front of the guardhouse. And I talked to the clock, and I said, "Oh crap! Here they come!" And here come 2 blacked out SUVs, come flying from out back someplace where I have no idea. Probably like Area 50.
Never know. You never know.
They come up on me and they slow down. And I told Clock, I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "What?" I'm like, "You might want to get back to the shop and turn it on channel 10. He's like, "Why?" Because probably going to be a high-speed chase in a freaking garbage truck. Not stopping, dude.
They're shooting at me. They're shooting at me.
Bro, they get out with some real guns, bro. It's not no joke.
don't know this, but the only way you can stop a garbage truck or any kind of big truck like that is with a 50 cal through the engine block.
They shoot the driver in the front. That's all.
Damn, you got him dead already, bro.
Well, I'm just saying.
They better catch Rick and Mortis goddamn gas pedal.
He's right too. Straight ahead.
And look,
Wow.
what are you gonna do if they try to block you off? I'm like, that's why I got forks in front of my truck. I'll pick them up, move them out of my way.
Hey, wait a minute. That sounds familiar. Other Shawn.
Yeah.
Original Shawn. Mr. I'm gonna move this out of my way. Like that was it one guy in Florida or something? There was a construction zone and this guy kept parking in front of one of their roll-off containers. So one of the guys operating the forklift decided he was going to have a fun day and put that thing inside or on top of the roll-off container. Had both wheels touching on the side perfectly. So and it was a resident that lived at this apartment complex they were renovating, and apparently it made the news down there, I guess, for a couple days.
Nice.
But
Right.
you always wonder, like, man, can I get away with doing this?
Tell you the truth, I got away with a lot of stuff at Casella. There's one specific time there was a manager. I won't mention his name because I really can't remember anybody's name back then.
Right.
A lot of people don't know 14-8 going from Stanley to Penn Yan or Stanley to Flint. That X section there by the landfill. If you go past that heading toward Penn Yan, just before you get to Stanley, is nasty because it's all open fields. And I just come back through there in the box truck, or as I like to call it, the sailboard truck. And I was told, oh, you have to go back out and pick up 4 totes. I said, I don't have to do anything except for stay white and die. I'm going back out there. You can't make me go back out there. You could fire me. You can do whatever the hell you want. Because like, what's that? I'm like, so therefore, you can pound rock salt, talk my white Irish unwashed nuts, not going back out there. I'm like, unless you want to get in this truck with me, okay, which I'm being pushed all over the road because there's 40-mile-an-hour winds, okay? I says, I'll give you an example, so-and-so. He's like, what's that? I'm like, open your sunroof in your car. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, stick your face out and see if your car slide from side to side. He's like, why would it slide to side for? Because the wind would catch your mouth, grab your freaking little fat ass cheeks, and puff them out. So you'd be going all over the place, dude. And Dad got her hand like this.
I'm gonna tell you this.
If you didn't know, if you didn't know this, he's white and he's Irish. All right, that's just everything.
I'm gonna tell you this. Management had a field day with him.
Yeah.
Management loved him.
Yeah, loved me. Like the time that clock. Well, anyways, get back to the story real quick. So he finally came to his senses and finally realized that I wasn't going back out to Penn Yan. So he's like, okay, we'll do this tomorrow. I'm like, good idea. I'm going home. See, bye.
Right.
Oh.
It was a nasty day out though, to be honest. It was real bad out. I think
Stability like -10.
I think at the end of that day they ended up calling us back.
They
I
did because
believe.
near the end of the day it was like 1 o'clock. They started calling everybody back.
Right.
Because they listed a state of emergency, no unnecessary traveling, emergency personnel only on the streets, the roads, or whatever else like this. And management finally said, oh, geez, we actually do care about our drivers. Let's call them back.
Oh, I mean, so
bro, I'm turning Alex into an emoji after this episode.
apparently, just face palms everywhere.
What?
I am glad to be reminded of the growth that we've had over the years at our favorite workplace.
Facility. Yeah.
Because the stories you tell right now, that brings back some good memories.
Yeah, it does. What about the time they let you take out that rental for the first time? How was that?
It was fun.
At the doctor's office. How did that go for you?
We had that for a while. I was doing recycling, and I come out of Middlesex. And I come up to Middlesex, come into Rushville, small little town in Rushville, and there was a medical center. And my truck, from all the way from the outskirts of Potter, Port Gibson, I think it is, or Port Byron, one of the two, all the way from there, all the way to Rushville, to the doctor's office, kept on saying they go into a regen. Well, the newer trucks, that after a while they would automatically put you in neutral into a
Or
safety
derate.
and do a regen for you.
Yeah.
I'll do it or not. So I get to the doctor's office and finally my truck goes, fuck you, we're going into a regen, asshole. And it went to a regen. Okay, whatever. I already picked up the bucket. I didn't care. Going to a regen. So I'm sitting there playing on my phone, looking at the red light because the red light would stay really, really bright red. But as the regen started going away, the light would start getting a little darker, and and the light would eventually go out. So I'm sitting there playing on my phone, and all of a sudden I hear this over my guest. She goes, "Your truck's on fire." I'm like, huh? I look out the back window, and there's like 4-foot flames coming out of the back of my truck. I mean, the Packer and the screen and the grate there, and on the other side of the grate was the exhaust. What happened was some cardboard fell behind my Packer and was stuck on next to the exhaust, and that's what caught on fire. So I immediately get on our two-way. We had those lovely Nextel two-way phones, pieces of crap, and I
Where you at?
Yeah. Where you at? And it's like someone eating a bag of potato chips and trying to talk at the same time. So I proceeded
I like them phones.
to literally rip the fire extinguisher off our side of our trucks. And our trucks had the yellow powder in them. And so I proceeded to, I don't know how I did this, but I almost felt like I was like an octopus. I had like 10 or 8 arms, or how many arms an octopus has. I was on the phone with his hand. I had pinched like this, and there was a hole like this in the grate. And that's where I was sticking the hose through. But every time I turned my head to talk to the phone, the hose would come out and hit the corner of the grate, and the powder would come back in my face. So not knowing that, not really paying attention, I'm trying to, and now mind you, I have a natural gas truck. So I'm trying to prevent the flames getting to the natural gas, even though at the time I didn't realize, but there's a safety valve on it. So if that pipe got hot, if the line for the natural gas actually got hot and broke, it's like a fire hydrant. They get hit by cars, they have a shutoff valve on them.
Right.
Water off. Some of them do. The newer ones do. The older ones really don't. I like seeing the older ones when cars hit them because water comes out the side of the cars. Goes, it basically bores a hole through the bottom of the car and like comes out the inside the car. So I'm trying to talk to management, and Debbie at the time, when I called her and told her, I didn't realize this, but the owner of the company and all the rest of the head management were in a meeting. And Debbie comes blown through the door, and she's like, "Shawn's truck's on fire." And management proceeded to say, "Oh, fuck." And like some of them said, "Oh, great." Like, hey,
there's another write-up.
Suck it up. So who was it? Oh, a certain DM, which I won't mention his name because I really can't remember his name at this present time. Alzheimer's a bitch. Proceeded to keep calling me, how things were going. My last call that I can remember, I says, "It's going fucking awesome. I have a weenie roast. I gotta go." Took the phone and threw it in a mud, and that's where it sat until I got around to taking it out of it. When I took it out, it was actually draining water out of the bottom of the phone. Yeah, so
that's what happened to that Nextel.
So the lady came out with 2 fire extinguishers. Now the yellow one I had wasn't doing shit to this fire. It was like pissing on a fire with gasoline. It was just making it worse. So I took the white powder fire extinguisher she had, and the fire went out. I ended up calling the fire department first. I called management first. Then I called the fire department, which I got yelled at for. That was not the proper procedure to do. You're supposed to call the fire department, then management. God forbid. So, what was it? Then a certain person came out. He used to be a resi driver. And the thing I loved about him was that when he used to get on my ass about certain rules and regulations for residential, I told him to stick it up his ass because he used to be a resi driver. And I said, so-and-so, you never follow the rules, so what makes you think I'm going to still follow the rules? So he showed up with a mechanic. My cousin showed up because at the time he worked for Casella. And he was on the other side of Canada, almost to Bloomfield. And somebody in Debbie called him. He's like, "Hey, you got to get the rush filled with the 20-yard you have on your truck, or the 30-yard. I think it was a 20-yard roll-off on his truck. You need to get out the rush fill because Shawn's truck's on fire, and we need to go someplace to put the garbage." So my cousin basically told me he was acting like a fire truck, going down the road, yanking on the air horn, yelling out the window, "Get the fuck out of my way." Well, when he told me this, I'm like, dude, I really don't think they heard you. If I heard the horn over your mouth, which is surprising, like, you got a big mouth. So, he's my cousin. I can talk shit about him.
All right, as long as you're doing it.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
It's not us.
He gets out there and he shows up where anybody else does. So the mouth was, "Hey, you got a cigarette?" Because I ran out of cigarettes. But the proper procedure was to open the door and push your garbage out. Well, seeing how the fire was behind my Packer, where all the main hydraulic pumps are, my door was not opening. My whole system, my whole truck, I shut the truck off. And I tried to start the truck. It started, but it wasn't letting me open the door or push the Packer.
Reject. Right.
So I find out the fire department showed up and they were having fun because they ended up getting this brand new little toy where it's a big box and you point it at the building or something and it shows you if there's heat. Well, I cut that there was heat there. I'm like, yeah, it's probably smoldering cardboard, you idiots. It's like, so no, what they do, they just climb up the ladder and start dousing the inside of my truck again behind the Packer. Because the Packer, here's the wall, here's the Packer. So there's water down here and water's just flooding out the bottom of my truck. So long story short, they ended up opening the door up and they pushed out maybe, I don't know, 5-6 ton of freaking cardboard and plastic and all that stuff. So they had my cousin drop the roll-off truck, the roll-off box, and this so happens the fire chief, Rushville, was actually also the head person for the DPW. So he went and got their excavator, little mini excavator they had with a clamp on it, and started clamping all the crap and putting it into the roll-off. Then our lovely management person who was there, he looked at me, and actually my cousin looked at me and goes, "Hey," I almost slipped up with the name there. My cousin goes, "Hey, you got yellow stuff in your beard." Well, we all know it's not cum, so we're good on that.
Oh, it kind of looks white to me right now.
You got a brown patch, right?
There's no bosses out here right now, so it's definitely not that.
So he proceeded to look at me and say, "Hey, you think you can drive back to the shop?" I'm like, "Are you fucking stupid?" I just inhaled 20 pounds of freaking powder, dude. And this individual is high up in the fire department. So I looked at him. I said, "Dude," I said, "you're freaking stupid." Well, I'm like, "Dude, no, don't even pull that fucking seniority shit with me, dude. Because first and foremost, I don't care if you're upper management, lower management, middle management, or what the fuck you are. We were in the ditches together. We were in the grime together. And you're going to sit there and start pulling rank with me? Fuck you. You know me, and you know better than to fucking pull that shit with me." He's like, "Well, I'm like, then write me up then, dude. Write me up. I don't care." Well, that's your problem.
Candidate.
I'm like, "Yeah, problem. You don't care." I'm like, "You're damn right I don't care. What do you do? Take my birthday away from me? No, you're not. So fuck off."
No birthday this year, buddy.
Yeah. So anyways, so I proceeded to drive the truck back to the shop and parked it in front of the garage door. And they said there was, that's how they determined there was cardboard near the exhaust.
Right.
That's what caused the fire to start. I'm like, "Gee, isn't that what I said?"
Now that's a truck you just took out. Like, it wasn't like your route, your truck. Just the person before you just never cleaned behind the blade.
No, that was my truck.
Was it? Okay. Okay.
Well, you have those certain things where the timing sometimes was a little off, and when the blade came back, and to me, dumping,
right,
sometimes the blade would come out because a lot of those newer trucks, you had a reset button on there, and it would take the Packer, and actually push it back where it's supposed to go. And if the Packer was here and the wall was here, there's really no room. There was like this much room for stuff to come over the Packer, behind the Packer and the wall. And that's what happened. I put too much stuff in the hopper and started packing stuff, and it started coming over the pusher, which I didn't care because I always got out and I always cleaned my stuff out and everything else like this. And for some ungodly reason, I don't even know how, because there was no drain back there. So when it rains, you had 50, 60 gallons of freaking water back there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a decent amount of water back there. You always had to wear your hip waders. You should go back there and clean anything out. If you did not have waterproof boots, you're walking out that day with some stinky ass feet.
Hell yeah. Definitely. Just to go behind your blade and clean.
So
That
I kind of sort of got reprimanded for that because I called management first instead of calling the fire department, and I didn't
right.
for nothing. And I basically told them, listen, what did you want me to do different other than call the fire department first? Okay, I saved your $1 million truck. Actually, it's not your truck; it's a rental truck. I saved because of what I did. I'm not saying any other. Some drivers that work for the company would probably sit back and say, "Hey, who's got the marshmallows?"
Yeah.
And probably
Now
put
it's
sticks and sat there and cooked their marshmallow over natural gas flames. And
at the end of all that, you were able to drive that truck back to the shop on its own.
yeah, because it had nothing to do with the engine, nothing.
Right.
When,
A lot of people that get truck fires, they can't drive it back to the shop because of
no, you can't.
I'm saying like it'll go behind the engine and catch the electronics on fire and end that truck for the day. So I mean, it's good when you can save a truck.
Yeah, or if you have a fire, it goes behind and burns the main wiring harness.
Right, definitely.
Or where it makes the truck non-drivable, or you can't even start the damn thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Whereas there was a time too that me and Clock were out on a route covering for somebody, middle of winter, and on our route sheet we usually wrote down notes that certain people are supposed to write that note onto the route sheet for the next driver.
Right. That's going back to the papers. Okay, this ain't the computer stuff that we got now. It's going back to the papers. Yeah.
So we didn't know at the time, but we weren't supposed to go down this road. And if we did, we weren't supposed to go as far as we were supposed to go down, because it was a dead end road. And you got down the dead end road and it just opened up. And matter of fact, I think the guy owned from A point to B point, and it was just a big open area.
Yeah.
And this driveway or into this parking area was a basketball hoop. Well, I basically slid because they didn't plow it. They plowed it a little bit. They didn't salt it. So I'm in a friggin' big resi truck, and was one of our older trucks.
It's 45.
I actually slid off the blacktop and dropped down that much, and I got stuck.
Yeah.
The wheel stopping. I told Clock push. He's looking at me laughing. I'm like, we got any salt? Because technically in the wintertime, the company's supposed to supply you salt, rock salt.
Right.
So you keep it in your toolbox. A lot of the trucks didn't have toolboxes on them. So therefore, I didn't have any rock salt. So my ingenious idea was to start shoveling. Well, that didn't make a shit difference.
No, it just brought us back further into the yard. We ended up like really far into this guy's yard.
Yeah,
it was funny.
We're like quarter of the truck was off the blacktop in the guy's yard.
It was freaking hilarious.
So,
I'm sure he was having a fun time.
Oh man, I was dying the whole time from the start to the end.
Yeah. So the plow truck shows up, and I said, "Hey, you got a chain?" He's like, "Yeah, I got a chain. It looks like a truck." I'm like, "You think?" I'm like, "You think you pull us out?" I'm like, "He's like, yeah, no problem." So, me not wanting to do a lot of damage to the truck, behind the back doors, there's that bar underneath the truck, right?
The ICC bumper.
So I thought it was a good idea to hook the chain to it. You can tell by John's reaction. What idea? That sucker
You know what happened?
Clean off the truck.
He took it right off. The guy just kept going with the bumper.
Plow guy stops and he gets out of his truck and he's like, "Wow!" And I'm like, "Oops."
He stopped after he was a mile down the road with the bumper.
He was a good 20 feet from us when he stopped.
He definitely was dying.
I unhooked the bumper from the chain and I drag it and put it back on. And it was a new lawn ornament for the guy because nobody went back out and never picked it up. Nobody. So the guy had a piece of scrap metal. So I ended up tying the chain to the axle, and I got unstuck. As the plow goes down the road, me and Clock are doing our paperwork. We call in. In the meantime, I followed proper channels. I called dispatch. I called management. Management was supposed to say, "Hey, I'll try to find a tow truck for you guys." We never heard nothing from nobody. Okay, called management a few times. Called dispatch. They said, "Well, we're checking into it." And basically, when dispatch, not this particular person for dispatch, basically when somebody tells you they're checking into it, means the shit in one hand and wishing the other and see which one fills up quick. So you're just shit out of luck, basically. So as
Yeah.
we get ready to leave, we're going over the crest of this hill, and here comes the tow truck toward us. And I lost it. I
Oh
stopped,
my god.
pulled the brake, put it in neutral, and I had my head on the steering wheel like this. I'm just crying.
And I'm
Then,
dying. Like, I'm in tears, bro. I got tears.
then we put the icing cake, Alex. The phone rings. It was management.
Hey, we got a tow truck for
The
you.
tow truck is on his way. No crap, really? It
So
wouldn't
it
be.
went too.
Oh man.
And he goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He's 2 feet from me, dickhead. And I hung up. So the tow truck comes out. The guy's out. Well, have you seen a truck that needs to be towed? No, I haven't. No. According to our paperwork, it's. I'm like, well, I don't know what they called you for. It's not stuck.
Right.
He goes, well, I need to take pictures. I'm like, take the pictures all you want. I said, you actually got 30 seconds to do all this shit, dude, because I'm like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours behind.
We were definitely far behind on the route.
Yeah,
And we didn't even know the route.
Yeah,
we didn't even know the route. We were just filling in.
Called in sick that day.
Yeah.
So
We were just filling in.
they ended up taking everything else like this, and I ended up leaving. And we got almost 95% of the route done before we got called back. And we get called back, and the person at the time was management. He basically came out and seen the truck, how it was, and asked where the bumper was. I said, oh, it's back on such and such road. I put in the paperwork. I wrote in the paperwork where the bumper is, so you guys can go back out and get it. He goes, well, we're not going to go back out and get it. You're going to go back. I said, I ain't going to go back out and get shit. No, not happening, dude. Well,
Right.
you could be written up for that. I'm like, then write me up. So I got written up for destruction of company property.
Add that to the list.
I looked at him and I laughed. But when I signed it, I put a dot at the end of my name, which I never, ever, ever do. Well, as I put the dot with the pen exploded and went over the paperwork and over his desk and over a few other things. And he's like, what the hell? And I'm smirking laughing. He's like, you think this is funny? I'm like, yeah, I think it's funny. Hey, you know what you can do now? You can hand me that nice little pink piece of paper saying, go fuck yourself, you're fired. Oh, I ain't gonna do that. Why not?
You never got that lucky.
You fired, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I do. Why? So I collect unemployment, sit home on my ass, and play fucking video games, dude. It'd be a hell of a lot better than what I'm doing now.
Right.
He's like, well, that's a bad attitude.
Man.
I said, are we done? So he was like, yeah, we're done for now. Like, so I walked out of the office. And so he proceeded to take that write up and my attitude. He wrote me up for my attitude and handed it up to the upper management, the DM, which I knew very well, and he knew me very, very well. And he came to the shop maybe a couple of times a week, and he finally calls me in the office and he goes, "What happened this day?" And I told him what happened. I go, "Malfunction." I'm like, "Yeah, malfunction. Freaking management's freaking brain cells." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I was never told the tow truck was coming. Was never notified about anything. The chain of command got broke. The chain of communication. There was no communication, none whatsoever. It was me communicating with everyone else and nobody communicating with me. Okay, that's all there was to it. He goes, "How do you think we can fix it?" I'm like, "Oh God, here we go again. Why don't you start paying me management money so when you guys ask me stupid ass fucking questions, I can answer it."
Yeah, right.
It's not my job to answer your questions to help you solve problems you should already know the fucking problem or already know the answer to.
Right.
Oh,
Management.
what I'm hearing is that you absolutely loved management when you worked there.
I loved them so much. I bought Valentine's Day candy, Easter baskets.
I mean, like you're obsessed with them right now. So I mean, you just love them guys.
They're
He
my
probably
idol.
still sends them candy.
Well,
Right.
there's one particular person in management I would love to see on the streets because I probably buy him dinner, and then I'll leave it at that.
Whoa.
That's nice of you.
And buy some drinks too, probably, right?
A few, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, well, we're glad that you had one person you liked.
Right. The good thing about that is as the routes got better or the trucks and stuff got better, our management got way better too. So our management is definitely better now. They definitely have the routes down pretty well. We're not going over our hours. Management definitely stepped up as they should. I mean, they definitely got a lot better, communicate a lot better.
It's like this. As much as I really want to believe you, it's kind of hard when the same person that used to dog fuck things is still working there.
It's
And
true.
this goes out to the person you had on the show that proceeded to mock this person for the way he talks and the way he acts. And I don't like the word retard. I really hate that word with a passion.
Same.
I hate it with
Same.
a passion.
Right. Yeah.
But the individual that you had on your show that proceeded to go above and beyond what he should have said and what he did, really shouldn't be breathing anymore.
Right.
He's just a dirtbag, straight up dirtbag. I'll say that. He can come. He can try to find me all he wants. As a matter of fact, hell, I'll tell you where I freaking work at. I won't tell you where I live at because anytime you want to meet in Canandaigua, boy, name the time and place.
Alex, I got an idea for another new podcast.
Might have it too. It's literally putting Shawn
Dude,
and this other guy
we're gonna bring them both on the show. That's what we're going to do. Actually, that manager is actually really well now too. So he does a really good job of what he does too. Man. Oh yeah, he definitely does.
Keeps on top of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Over the years, what to do and what not to say, what to say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
definitely.
It's always a learning curve. You know, I mean, sometimes it takes a little while to get on the bike and learn what you need to do. I mean, and as far as anyone ever said anything about your studying problem, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but when I get kind of excited, I got ADHD brain and I stutter too. So,
yeah, a lot of us do it though. Like it's like just a common thing, you know.
He's therapy because he stutters.
Right.
My brother stutters. I stutter when I talk too fast because then my brain's processing things and my mouth can't keep up with it.
Right.
Well, yeah, so you got diarrhea of the mouth normally, and it's all bundled up.
No, you don't think any of the viewers see
like,
that, huh?
All right, cancel that.
None of the viewers seen the diarrhea of the mouth, bro. Oh no.
The guy that, I don't know. If he has a grudge with management, then he should have taken it upon himself to do it a different way than coming on your podcast.
Definitely.
Long story short, he's putting shit on your name.
Right. We definitely agree with that. I mean,
and both you are my brothers, and I don't throw that word around for everybody and anybody.
Correct.
Right? I've been all three of us have been in the trenches with each other. We've been through a lot of shit with each other. A lot of good times, a lot of bad times. So for me to throw that out there and say that, yes, shows like this are like venting shows.
Oh yeah, right. Absolutely.
Well, definitely.
You should only vent to a certain extent.
Correct. And not take it too far.
He didn't think about the repercussions behind what he said.
Right.
As far as for like him and for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because you guys can get in a lot of trouble for having him on the show and you not knowing what he's going to say. It's like you don't know what the hell I'm going to say.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, someone didn't tell me you were coming on today, so I was kind of shocked to see you. And first of all, I'm like, oh, great, here comes diarrhea. I mean, no.
I told
diarrhea's on the show.
I'll come out. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm like, all right, I'll come on the show, but you can't tell Alex. And he's like, okay, bet. And he's like, well, why can't I tell Alex? Because I want Alex to know, because the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Christmas party.
It definitely was.
Someone told me that we were having another guest on, and that guy's like, okay, we're just going to sit here waiting. So I was singing to myself.
It's surprise.
It's so funny. It's so funny because we were actually supposed to do a double header tonight. We had two people supposed to come on. And I was like, oh, no, this one might run a little bit too long. We can't do two. So you were the one that won.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts about the show running over today, boys.
Right.
You don't mind.
I got stories upon stories upon stories. But the bottom line is, when you take a job, like I did for Casella twice, and some people call me stupid for going back.
It's not, though. I mean, you got a family to support. So no matter where you work in life, you got a family.
You learn from your jobs.
Right.
Takes from your jobs. You learn at the job what to do and what not to do. My biggest problem is that I don't give a shit. I really don't. I'm not highly skilled, but I'm around the block, 53 years old, and I look like I'm 90. But anyways,
Okay, Father Time.
I know things. I know how to do things. I know how to present myself to certain people. Get my
Yeah.
foot. I presented myself, and I showed them. Showed management who I was, just to give me the job. Then I showed who I really was about 2 weeks after I got the job.
Yeah.
Because I got to that point where I showed them where they that I was a hell of a worker. I busted my ass, and I did things in efficient time. Sometimes not always on time, but I did my job.
Right.
And
And
when
you'd go above for them too as well.
when I graduated from having my own route to become office bitch,
Swing driver.
yeah,
Swing driver now. Yeah.
okay, swing driver. We'll go with that word, swing driver.
Go that way.
But anyway, but they knew that when the chips are down, they could count on me to do things. That's like a lot of drivers you guys have right now. And yes, you guys have gone through a lot of drivers. And there was a point in time that Casella had a program where they would get your Class B for you, but you had to work for them for an X amount of time. And if you didn't, you owed them an X amount of dollars. And I've heard from a lot of people, a lot of guys took on that job. But at the same point in time, too, after they found out they weren't going to get that $2,500 sign-on bonus all at one time, which you got to be a basic idiot to think about that. Damn well it's over length of time. Come on now.
Yeah, right. You ain't gonna start any company, and get a sign-on bonus right away.
No,
like you're insane to even think that.
Unless you know somebody in the company that can persuade numbers, then it's
right.
only full sign-on bonus. But other than that, people should know better. You're not going to get your full sign-on bonus. It's just
right.
But when it comes to that company that went out of business in Geneva, Fair. When Fair went out of business, we got flooded.
Yeah, we talked about that. Bad.
We did.
Trucks were breaking down left and right, the whole 9 yards. And the running joke with a lot of us drivers is that Farmington Tow Service got that new rotary tow truck because of us. Because
Probably.
they're paying contractors to pick up our trucks.
True.
And they're picking our trucks up with these decent trucks. And next, here's a brand new rotary showing up on the job. And that was our inside joke between a lot of us drivers, a lot of the older drivers, that they got their new rotary truck because of us. If not every day, if not twice a day, there was a truck being towed back because it was putting wear and tear on the mechanics to keep them trucks running. Management was coming down on them. The management was coming down on us because now we went from a 75 stop up to 150 stop. And I don't care how fast and how quick you think you are. In my eyes, you're killing yourself. You can do 150 stops in one day.
I mean, that's 150 in front load terms, by the way, not residential guys. Don't be like, oh, I could do 150 cans residential. No problem. No. That's front load.
That's front load. Yeah.
Now, I remember when my Friday route blew up from 350 houses to freaking 870 something houses.
Then to 1,000. Yeah, it went over to 1,000. Remember?
Oh, it was about 1,800 lifts at the all said and done. So that's the number of toters, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was spread out over the whole crap city. I did three loads every day. That sucked.
And then on top of it too, we were in positions where we had to go to different landfills, and some landfills didn't like us.
Yep.
Didn't like the company. And
if ours closed down because of the wind shear,
or we were so far out and we were overpacked, and we still had 50 stops left, but yet we're close to this landfill or this dump off area, and we had to go dump it off and then go finish our. Because management frowned on it really, really bad, that if we had to go to landfill first thing in the morning, because that automatically put us behind on our routes. Now, some of us, there was one individual that he was damn good in front load. He was really, really good in my eyes. He was an older gentleman, and he worked holidays because he didn't want to work Saturdays. Saturday was his drinking day. So Christmas would fall on a Thursday. He'd come in on Christmas and do his route. And all his customers knew this. Every single customer knew on his route. It doesn't matter if it was holiday or what the holiday it was. He was there to pick up their stuff. And he had front load, And him and another guy, actually there's like 3 guys front load. Those are only 3 guys I ever call about if I had problems. Because A, they had more experience than I did, and B, they're really, really good at their job.
Yeah.
And the one guy there, him and I got along so well, even though I was the oldest one, other than the other guy there. the main one I was talking about. I looked up to these guys because they've been doing it a lot longer than I have. They know these routes frontwards, backwards, sideways, upside down. They can start in the middle of a route, go from the middle to the beginning, and then go around to the end and go back to the middle. Same amount of time to do if they went from beginning to end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And they'd probably come give you a hand if you needed it.
Yeah, they would. You would. They
Right.
really would.
That's how it was with me and Alex. Me and Alex were that way.
We were the AS team. AS team.
Yeah. we definitely ran to each other when trouble hit.
When
you know.
Right.
It definitely was always like that.
You had people like that, and then you had guys that are like, screw you, I've done my route, I'm going home.
Yep.
Still got that. That hasn't changed.
Always.
It'll always be like that. Yeah, you'll always get them guys that, hey, I've done my share today.
Blah blah blah, whatever, like this.
Right.
It's like, there's a blacktop plant up in Rochester on McKee Road. It's called the McKee plant, and today some things were happening that I didn't appreciate. So therefore, you both know me, that I proceeded to voice my opinion about what was going on. So my boss basically told me, don't get loaded until 7:15. Or 7:15, let me know what's going on, and then I'll tell you to get loaded or not. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I let one truck ahead of me. One truck. The one truck gets ahead of me. Here comes 4 more trucks getting ahead of me. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I'm not in the mood to say anything right now. But when I sit there for 5-10 minutes and nobody's moving, I basically got out of my truck, walked up to the building where they have the computer to dispense the blacktop. And I said, what are we having, a circle jerk in here? And everybody's like, looked at me. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is freaking starting to be real bullshit. Now this happened. What's happening now is that it's getting dark later. Or it's getting lighter later. Okay.
Right.
So you have companies that don't want to start until it's light. Okay. For blacktopping. Now, that's fine and dandy, but don't have your drivers show up to the freaking goddamn plant at freaking 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. And then you turn around and tell them to get loaded at 7:30. Because once you on hold, when you come off hold, you are allowed to get in the line. No matter how many trucks are there. There could be 50 trucks there, and you can be the 4th one in line now. I voiced my opinion about stuff. And I mentioned a certain company, and the company I mentioned, the driver who worked for that company happened to be standing right there. And I didn't care. I told him how I felt. I'm like, this company always pulls this bullshit. Always.
Right.
And I vented on the guy that ran the plant. And him and I are really, really good friends. And I went back later and apologized to him. I said, it wasn't meant towards you, it was meant toward drivers. And it's you find this everywhere and anywhere you go. You've got drivers that want to compete against other drivers. Okay. You could be in the construction business. You could be in the garbage business. You can be any kind of business. If you have to deal with Class B trucks or Class A trucks, you're always fighting against each other. Always. And we all got to stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? We got Mr. Mouse. Yeah, it's Mr. Mouse. Anyways, so we got to stop fighting against each other. We all got to realize, long story short, we're all like family. All brothers and sisters. We're all trying to do the exact same thing, to make money, go home to our families, and just deal with life. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you have drivers out there that the company beats in their head that we need to get shit done. Okay? I don't care what it costs or what happens or anything else like this. We need to get stuff done. Okay, well, by you telling your driver that means it gives him the right to disrespect other drivers. And I don't go for that stuff. I really don't go for that stuff. I really don't. So people really got it. Drivers out there, you really got to get it, sit down and think about things. Right. All in the boat together. We're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to make money. We're all trying to support our families. We got to stop. We got to learn to stop cutting each other's throats.
Yeah.
I don't care if I drive for waste management and I see a Casella truck on the side of the road having problems. I'm going to stop and see if you're okay.
We all do the same job. Yeah, correct.
Me personally, this is what I would do, and I've done it thousands and thousands of times. I may be driving for the company I drive for, and I see our company having problems, on the side of the road, putting their tarp out, or whatever else. I'll stop and I'll help you. And I've done it plenty of times.
Right.
And the one time that I did it, I didn't realize it, but the driver knew my bosses with the owner of the company. I didn't realize he knew him. Well, a couple of days later, my boss pulled me aside and goes, "Hey, did you help out so-and-so the other day with their tarp?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? How'd you help?" I stood on the freaking guardrail and tried to pull their tarp down for them because it got all bounded up. I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Well, that guy there you helped?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "That was the brother of the owner." I'm like, "And? I don't care who it was. I don't care if it was the owner himself.
Right.
We're all in here. We're all doing do the same thing. But then you got drivers out there, and I've experienced this plenty times when I work for Casella and for the company I work for now, or ABC or whoever. You got guys out there that drive big trucks or even dump trucks or garbage trucks that have no respect for the other drivers.
Right. You definitely get that. And you see a lot of that at the landfills, actually. That's where we personally see a lot of that.
I was at the landfills. But the one particular incident I'm talking about is that I was at the corner of this road. There was a Buffalo, and the other road I can't think where. McKee and Buffalo. And at the end of McKee is Buffalo Road. And you got a signal. Well, this driver coming and the light turns red. He sees it turn red. He speeds up. And he was a good 20 feet from the signal. He had enough time to stop because you go around this bend underneath the bridge and you could see the signal. When that light turns yellow, you stop. You don't try to run the damn thing unless you're. And I know a lot of me personally. I set a stop point from a signal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, what is that white line? If you see that white line, the beginning of that white line, if my front tire's here for that white line, I'm not stopping because that means I can't stop. I don't have enough room to stop because people in cars nowadays, and I've always said this for the longest freaking time. When you take your road test or your permit, there should be at least 10 questions on there involving big trucks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Telling them how far, if I'm going 55 miles an hour, how long does it take me to stop? Me personally, loaded, if I'm doing 55, it takes me over almost the size of a football field to come to a complete stop.
Right.
That's same with 60. Any kind of truck. And the bigger the truck you are, the longer it takes you to slow down or stop. And people don't realize this stuff, and people don't get it through their thick heads. They think we can stop on a dime. We can't stop on a dime. So you got people cutting in front of us. And my favorite thing of all times is people not using their turn signals. That really,
we get a lot of that.
Oh,
we definitely get a lot of that.
Yeah, you do. And people don't. It's like, oh, whatever. They turn. Okay, well, next time you go to turn on turn signal, and you think you have a decent amount of room between me and you, you're going to realize you don't. You're playing wonka, 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 and next thing you know, I'm freaking, my bumper's fucking over top of your trunk because you weren't paying attention. You're like, oh, fuck it. Don't stop for me. Whatever. No, I'm not going to stop for you. I really am not.
Definitely won't.
People. And the people I love the best are you're going 55, 60 miles an hour down the highway, and the guy is so close behind you, the only thing you can see is his back door or his bumper. That's it. So my favorite thing to do is a little brake check, or as I like to call muscle spasm in my left leg. And and sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't.
You're bad.
Sometimes I have more than one muscle spasm in my leg that show somebody you need to back off. And there's been a few times this hand here has been twitching to pull the freaking the button to pop my tailgate and dump whatever material I have in the back of my truck right on their hood. But I subconsciously my evil side say do it, but my good side says no, don't do it. And I don't do it. So whatever. But anyways.
Hey, but is there any final thoughts you'd like to give to everybody? We're gonna wrap this up. We got
thoughts,
positive
good.
thoughts, good stuff.
That's
true. Yes.
Positive thoughts.
Any advice?
We're all in this together.
There you go.
We got to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've been talking about for the past couple of minutes. We got to stop fighting each other. We really do.
Right.
If you see your competitor on the side of the road, stop and help them.
Right.
I'm allowed one good deed a year, and sometimes I do maybe 3 or 4 a year, which goes over my quota. That means the following year I don't have to do any. So
Definitely.
This is the
So-
bottom line. We all got to be courteous to everybody. Everybody from driving cars to pickup trucks to tractor trailers, to dump trucks, garbage trucks, whatever. You just got to be, pay attention to people, man.
Be
If we
nice.
start paying attention to people and start paying attention to our surroundings, there'd be a lot less car accidents versus truck accidents.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that they're going to stop. Well, sometimes we can't stop.
Right. Definitely.
But
So
and our fun fact, boys and girls, stay in school and don't do drugs.